The story begins in the year 1985, in the city of Manhattan. Inside a high-rise apartment, a man is sitting alone, smoking and watching the evening news. The President of the United States is addressing the nation, speaking about the rising Cold War tensions between America and Russia. The fear of nuclear destruction is hanging heavy in the air. Suddenly, without warning, the door to his apartment bursts open. A tall, masked man in black enters and launches a brutal attack on him. The man inside, though older, is not defenseless. He throws punches and fights back with everything he has, using strength and years of combat training. But the intruder is incredibly fast, agile, and much stronger. The fight tears through the apartment, breaking glass, smashing furniture, and slamming both men against the walls. The intruder gains the upper hand. He lifts the man high and hurls him straight through the glass window. The man plummets many stories down, crashing fatally onto the pavement below. As his lifeless body hits the ground, a small yellow badge with a blood-stained smiley face falls beside him. That man was no ordinary man. He was a government-backed superhero, once known across America as the Comedian. He had fought in wars, worked in covert operations, and had been a member of a famous team of heroes. Years ago, during World War II, there was a group of masked vigilantes called the Minutemen. They helped America win battles, bringing justice with their fists and costumes. Later, a new generation of heroes emerged, the Watchmen, descendants and successors of the original team. But times have changed. Superheroes are now outlawed. Many have been killed. Some are imprisoned. A few live in hiding. Among them, only one truly powerful being still openly works for the US government, Dr. Manhattan. Unlike the others, he is not just human. He possesses limitless godlike powers, able to control matter itself. With glowing blue skin and a calm, detached demeanor, he is feared and revered as the ultimate weapon of America. Dr. Manhattan has a companion, his girlfriend Lori Jupiter, also known as Silk Spectre. She is a second-generation hero, the daughter of a former Minuteman. Then there is another costumed vigilante, Rorschach, a man in his mid-40s. With a shifting ink-blot mask covering his face, he still operates in the shadows, even though vigilantism is illegal. He sees the world as a dark place of corruption, and he deals out brutal justice to criminals. When Rorschach hears of the comedian's mysterious death, he immediately suspects something more sinister. He believes someone is targeting masked heroes. He begins an investigation. His search first takes him to an old villain named Moloch, once a notorious crime lord, now a frail old man. Rorschach demands answers, growling through his mask. Who killed the comedian? Moloch trembles and explains that one night, the comedian himself had come to his home, drunk and shaken. The comedian had said, "They're coming for us. There's a list, and my name is on it." But before Moloch could understand, the comedian stormed out. Now he's dead. Meanwhile, Dr. Manhattan is shown in his private research facility. He is surrounded by multiple versions of himself, his clones. Lori is with him, but she realizes with frustration that the man she loves is dividing his attention. Instead of spending time with her, he has duplicated himself to focus on his experiments. She confronts him. "Do you even have time for me anymore?" she asks. Dr. Manhattan, in his calm, emotionless tone, replies, "I am working on a project that could solve the world's energy crisis. With this device, humanity will never suffer from lack of electricity again." Lori shakes her head and storms out, tired of being sidelined by his detached pursuit of science. Later, Dr. Manhattan attends a press conference. Reporters question him about his past relationships. One reporter accuses him. "Every woman you were close to has died of cancer. Everyone who comes near you gets sick. Isn't it true that you caused these deaths?" Dr. Manhattan tries to deny it, saying, "That's not true. They must have been sick already." But suddenly a woman steps forward. She was once his former girlfriend, and she reveals, "I have cancer too, and I'm dying." The room explodes with questions. Cameras flash. Reporters shout. Dr. Manhattan's calm expression shatters. For the first time, he feels guilt. He believes he may have unknowingly killed innocent people just by existing. Overwhelmed, he teleports away instantly. In a flash of light, he disappears from Earth and reappears on the barren red surface of Mars. There, he isolates himself, drifting among the rocks, haunted by his past. The story now shifts into a flashback. We see Dr. Manhattan before he became the blue godlike being. His real name was John Osterman, a brilliant physicist. He worked on experimental energy projects. One day, he accidentally left his watch inside a test chamber. When he entered the chamber to retrieve it, the doors sealed shut. Outside, his colleagues unknowingly activated the experiment. John screamed for them to stop, but it was too late. The chamber filled with deadly radiation. His body was bombarded with energy until it disintegrated before their eyes. All that remained was his wristwatch. Everyone thought he was dead, but days later, strange phenomena occurred. First, a nervous system appeared out of thin air, then a skeletal form, then muscles. Finally, John reassembled himself into a glowing blue figure. He had been reborn as something beyond human, Dr. Manhattan. With his newfound powers, he could manipulate atoms, teleport anywhere, and destroy anything in seconds. The US government quickly realized his value. He became their weapon, their protector, and their symbol of absolute power. Back in the present, the Cold War intensifies. The US president meets with Adrian Veidt, also known as Ozymandias, once a masked hero himself, now retired and celebrated as the smartest man alive. He has built a vast business empire. The president warns him, "If war breaks out between us and Russia, the world will end. You have influence. Help us stop it." But during their meeting, a gunman bursts into Adrian's office and opens fire. Adrian moves with lightning reflexes, disarming and overpowering the attacker. Before he can question him, the gunman kills himself. Meanwhile, Rorschach continues his investigation. He returns to Moloch's home only to find Moloch murdered, a bullet in his head. Suddenly, police flood the building. They accuse Rorschach of the crime. He realizes he's been framed. Though he fights back ferociously, he is eventually overpowered and arrested. Inside prison, Rorschach faces a nightmare. Most of the inmates are criminals he personally put behind bars. They want revenge. They surround him in the cafeteria, threatening to kill him. But Rorschach fights back brutally, burning one attacker with boiling oil, breaking bones, and making it clear, "You're locked in here with me." His combat skills make him a deadly force even without weapons. Outside, Laurie reconnects with an old teammate, Dan Drayberg, once known as Night Owl. They learn of Rorschach's imprisonment and decide they cannot leave him to die inside. They dust off their old costumes and prepare to break him out that night. They infiltrate the prison. Fighting through guards and chaos, they make their way to Rorschach's cell. Explosions and riots erupt as criminals attempt to kill him, but with Laurie and Dan's help, Rorschach escapes. Together, the three vigilantes reunite. Meanwhile, Laurie seeks out Dr. Manhattan again. She finds him on Mars, lost in thought. He teleports her there to speak with her privately. On the desolate surface, he tells her about humanity, about his growing detachment from people, and about the pain of existence. Their relationship has crumbled, but he still feels a connection to her. At the same time, Rorschach and Night Owl press forward with their investigation. They suspect a larger conspiracy. They dig deeper, uncovering connections to Adrian Veidt. They discover evidence that Adrian orchestrated the smear campaign against Dr. Manhattan, framing him for causing cancer, and that Adrian is linked to companies involved in suspicious experiments. Piece by piece, the truth begins to unfold. On Mars, Laurie stands across from Dr. Manhattan. The red surface stretches endlessly around them, and the sky glows in silence. She tells him he has grown distant from humanity, that he no longer understands people. Dr. Manhattan answers with cold logic, saying that human lives are meaningless in the grand scale of time and the universe. But Laurie insists. She speaks about her life, about the pain of being the daughter of a costumed hero. Her mother, the original Silk Spectre, raised her in the shadow of violence. She hated the truth of her past, but here, far from Earth, the pieces of her life connect in her mind. She realizes something shocking, that the comedian, the very man who had assaulted her mother years ago, is her biological father. The revelation crushes her. She sobs, unable to process the truth. But Dr. Manhattan sees it differently. He says softly, "Don't you see? The very existence of life, out of so many impossibilities, is a miracle. You are a miracle." For the first time in years, he feels a spark of wonder toward humanity. Laurie's existence, born of tragedy and chance, convinces him that human life is precious. With renewed purpose, he tells Laurie, "Perhaps the world is worth saving after all." And with a flash of light, he returns with her to Earth. Meanwhile, Rorschach and Night Owl continue their search for answers. They follow the trail of evidence leading directly to Adrian Veidt. In his corporate office, they break into his computer system. With Dan's technical skills, they crack his password and uncover classified files. The files reveal a staggering truth. Adrian orchestrated everything. He framed Dr. Manhattan by giving cancer to his former associates. He staged the assassination attempt against himself to avoid suspicion. And worst of all, he planned something catastrophic, an operation already in motion. Rorschach clenches his fists in rage. Dan is shaken. They realize they must confront Adrian before it's too late. The two heroes travel across the world to Antarctica, where Adrian has built a massive secret base among the frozen wastelands. Inside, they find him waiting calmly, dressed in regal armor, surrounded by advanced technology. He greets them with a chilling smile. "I knew you would come." They demand answers. Rorschach snarls, "You killed the comedian. You framed Manhattan. You're behind all of it." Adrian does not deny it. In fact, he proudly explains his plan. He says that humanity is on the brink of nuclear war. The United States and Russia are moments away from launching missiles. Billions will die. The only way to save the world is to give them a common enemy, something so terrifying that both superpowers will unite against it. He has created artificial energy blasts that mimic the signature of Dr. Manhattan. Using his technology, he has already unleashed massive explosions in cities around the world. New York has been devastated, millions dead. Other capitals lie in ruins, and the world believes it was the work of Dr. Manhattan. Dan is horrified. "You've murdered millions of innocent people," he shouts. Adrian answers coldly, "Yes, but I've saved billions. The war is over. America and Russia will join hands, not against each other, but against Manhattan. My sacrifice has united the planet." Then comes the most chilling revelation of all. Adrian had not just planned this. He has already executed it. He looks at them with cold certainty and says, "Do you think I would explain my plan if there was the slightest chance you could stop me? I triggered it 35 minutes ago." Dan and Rorschach rush to the giant screens in the base. News broadcasts confirm the truth. Across the globe, cities have been hit. But now, for the first time, Russia and America are standing down. Their leaders are speaking of peace, of unity against a new threat. The Cold War is over. At that moment, a bright flash of blue fills the room. Dr. Manhattan and Laurie arrive in Antarctica. They have returned to confront Adrian. Dr. Manhattan towers over him, his glowing form radiating power. "You did this," he says. Adrian, undeterred, activates a giant creature from his lab, a genetically engineered beast, part lynx, part tiger. It snarls and attacks, but Manhattan destroys it effortlessly. Then Adrian unleashes a wave of pure energy from his machines. Manhattan's body explodes into fragments, scattering like shattered glass. Laurie screams in horror. Dan collapses, thinking the god is dead. But moments later, the air vibrates. Blue light reforms into Dr. Manhattan's towering figure. His calm voice echoes, "Did you truly think you could kill me?" For the first time, Adrian falters. But then, he plays his final card. He turns on the screens once more, showing the US president announcing peace with Russia. The world believes Dr. Manhattan caused the destruction, and the world has united because of it. Manhattan listens in silence. Dan and Laurie stare in disbelief. Adrian says, "I did what none of you could. I saved the world. Yes, I killed millions, but I prevented billions more from dying in nuclear fire. If you expose me, everything falls apart. The peace will end. War will return." The room falls into silence. Everyone understands the impossible truth. Adrian's actions were monstrous, yet effective. His logic is twisted but undeniable. Dan drops to his knees in despair. Laurie looks away, unable to face the horror. Even Dr. Manhattan remains quiet, unable to refute the outcome. But Rorschach refuses. His principles are unbreakable. He growls, "No, I won't compromise, not even in the face of Armageddon. The world deserves to know the truth." He walks toward the exit, determined to tell the public everything. Adrian glances at Manhattan. The meaning is clear. Laurie begs, "John, don't." Dan shouts, "There has to be another way." But Dr. Manhattan steps forward. His glowing hand rises. Rorschach pulls off his mask, revealing his scarred face. He spreads his arms wide, shouting, "Do it!" In a blinding flash, Dr. Manhattan obliterates Rorschach into dust. His voice is calm, but his choice seals the secret forever. The survivors stand in silence. Adrian turns to Manhattan and asks, "Was it worth it in the end?" Dr. Manhattan looks at him with unreadable eyes. Then he replies, "Nothing ever ends, Adrian." With that, he teleports away, vanishing into the void. Laurie and Dan leave Antarctica together, broken but alive. They will carry the burden of the secret, Knowing that humanity's peace rests on ALIE.AS for Dr. Manhattan, he decides Earth is no longer his place. Humanity will forever fear and blame him. Instead, he will seek another galaxy, another world, where he can create life anew. With a final flash of light, he disappears into the cosmos. The story closes on the image of a world seemingly at peace, yet built on deception, sacrifice, and blood. The Watchmen are gone, their secrets buried. Only silence remains. But somewhere far away, Rorschach's journal, filled with his notes about the conspiracy, waits to be discovered, leaving one last question. Will the truth eventually come out? And with that, the tale of Watchmen comes to its haunting end.